Peace, love, and happy Monday. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sacred Temptress 555, and I'm here to share my thoughts and guide you through overcoming temptations and unhealthy relationships with yourself and others. If you're new to my page, subscribe to my channel, stay up to date, and share my page to those who are seeking to walk in the path of transformation. For the month of June, I've chosen to share spiritual messages for each birth month from January through December. Last Monday, I shared a spiritual message for birth months April through June. Today, I'll be sharing a specialized message for those born July through September. If you're truly ready to break free from the grip of your temptations and old ways, this reading is for you. I'll be sharing some of the common weaknesses and negative traits one might face so that you can begin recognizing them within yourself and becoming more aware. Through the divine messages I'll offer, you'll be guided to work through these areas with love, intention, and self-discipline so you can begin building a deeper, stronger relationship with yourself. This week's spiritual message reflects on what is your main weakness or negative trait and how can you fix it. Before I get started, remember that this reading may or may not resonate with you, so please take only what relates to your current being. Have an open mind, tap into your self-awareness, and be truthful with yourself. If you find that you may not carry these traits, then this reading isn't for you. Let's get into it. For those born in July, your negative attribute is addictive behavior. Your positive trait is change, either change for the worse or change for the better. These addictions could be to drugs, alcohol, sex, food, money, or even cheating, but you also carry the gift of transformation. This change could lead you into more chaos, or it could elevate your soul. It all depends on how emotionally attached you are to what you're indulging in. Everything stems from emotions. Your emotions predict your actions. The Knight of Swords showed up in your reading as a reminder to look in the opposite direction of your addictive behaviors. It calls you to take action with urgency and start making positive changes within your life in order to find balance. But this change begins by going inward, by becoming self-aware of these patterns you carry. Some individuals already know their addictive habits. They may refrain at times, only to return to them when the urge calls. Becoming aware of these small cycles and applying discipline bit by bit brings you closer to reclaiming your power. Ask yourself, is overindulging in addictive behavior benefiting my being? Write your answer in a journal, reflect deeply, then begin to map out ways to practice self-control when it's needed most. You hold the power of change. But be mindful, sometimes we only replace one addiction with another that still overstimulates and disconnects us. True transformation requires presence, deep presence. To be addicted is to surrender your free will, to be consumed by a desire for temporary gratification. You may hear the familiar whisper, just one more time. But how many times will you listen to the voice that pulls you deeper into disconnection? When will you choose to stop? If this message resonates with you, ask yourself, how will I make the shift? You'll need to begin by practicing restraint. It's a sacred act refraining from the behavior and choosing not to let it own you. Be careful, replacing one habit with another can still lead you into the same trap. Refrain, reflect, recalibrate. You must go within, build your self-awareness, cultivate discipline. You already have the strength, it's just waiting for you to tap into it. If you sense your relationship with sex, food, or money is becoming unhealthy, listen. Even money, though necessary, can become addictive. Overspending, misusing it, or even working to exhaustion just to see numbers rise. Cravings for fast food? It may feel good in the moment, but it feeds the very traits you're trying to heal. Discipline begins in those small urges. Those are your gateways to balance. Once you find that balance, you begin to shape a more powerful version of yourself. You have free will. You can choose either path, but with power comes responsibility to not let your urges run your life. You could begin practicing discipline by meditating daily, visualizing yourself with control, and silencing that lower voice that says, just one more time. Instead, listen to your higher self, the one that reminds you, you know better than that. If it's hurting you, don't indulge. You must want the change. This isn't a punishment, it's a process. It takes time, it takes grace, but it begins with awareness. Write your patterns down in a journal if you must. Call them by name, because once you name it, you can face it. You are the master of your being. You must know your emotional state, because that's where the root cause is. Addictions often come from emotional instability or avoidance. But if you journal your emotions every day, you start becoming present with yourself. You start building the path toward freedom. You may need to change your environment. If the people, places, and things around you encourage addiction, step away. If your circle constantly spends recklessly, protect your energy until your discipline is solid. You must look at yourself from the outside, from your higher self's perspective, and see the consequences. If you're in a loving relationship and suddenly fall into temptation due to emotional weakness, you may ruin something sacred because you gave into a fleeting desire. If you've built up savings for a home and suddenly overspend due to a habit, you may sabotage your long-term peace for short-term pleasure. You don't need to punish yourself or go to extremes. You simply need balance. If you know something is unhealthy, find the healthier opposite. Seek harmony in all things. The Princess of Discs in your reading is a sign of hope, a sacred reminder that this new beginning is yours to claim. It's a beautiful manifestation of a more disciplined you, one who walks in grace, one who holds power over urges, not the other way around. People born in July are also natural teachers. Others, especially children, are watching you, learning from your choices. If you overindulge in food or spending, they may observe those patterns too. You're not just healing yourself, you're modeling balance for others. You were meant to guide, not through force, but through presence, through example. We can't force others to change, but by living in alignment, we plant seeds. They may grow or they may not, but you've done your part by being the light. You are the teacher, the guide, the one who chooses awareness over indulgence, the one who chooses love over addiction. And from this choice, you rise. For those born in August, your negative attribute is narrow-mindedness, while your positive trait is clarity. Narrow-mindedness means having a closed way of thinking, only sticking to what you know, and not being open to other ideas. This becomes a negative trait because it can block your own opportunities. When your mind is narrow, you must cultivate clarity in order to truly receive the new opportunities being divinely presented in your life. Clarity allows you to discern which paths are right for you and which ones you'd prefer not to take. But that level of wisdom only comes from having a clear mind, a clear understanding that helps you move forward with intention. The Seven of Swords showed up in your reading to guide you toward navigating complex conversations by taking the risk of being open-minded for your own growth. Understand this. Taking the risk of being open doesn't mean you're obligated to agree with everything. In fact, you can still use your natural instinct to pull back when something doesn't feel aligned. But you must allow yourself the freedom to listen, to discern. Use your discernment wisely to build clarity around what's being said without reacting harshly. People born in August often carry a strong presence. But when expressed harshly, that power can unintentionally harm good relationships or shut down opportunities. Sometimes it's not just the thoughts you hold, but how you communicate them. There's also a tendency to unconsciously deceive others with your way of thinking, but not out of malice, but out of habit. It's something you hide well, but it shows in your reluctance to receive input from others. To fully activate your gift of clarity, you must listen more deeply. Let go of the mental clutter that has you stuck in a singular perspective. Open-mindedness is a powerful catalyst for transformation. It can evolve your life in ways you've been quietly yearning for if you just pause, listen, and reflect instead of arriving with your mind already made up. Especially when it comes to financial stability, you don't have to block the flow of abundance that's trying to reach you. That next step in your career, the financial abundance you've been looking for, they might be waiting behind a door you've already judged without opening. You can still use your narrow-mindedness as protection when needed. Not all opportunities are good, but the key is to develop clarity first. That means listening, asking questions, and paying attention to the energy behind what's being said. August-born souls are highly independent, and with that independence often comes the assumption that your ideas are the only ones that matter. But sometimes just hearing someone else could shift your path in miraculous ways. You may recall moments where someone offered you a suggestion you brushed off, only to later revisit it and realize that idea could have helped you earlier. Divine timing is real, but so is divine listening. To grow in open-mindedness and strengthen your inner clarity, practice daily. Be intentional and ask yourself, am I listening to respond or listening to understand? Is this idea misaligned, or am I just uncomfortable being stretched? You don't have to take in every idea. Simply learn to filter through your own wisdom. A narrow mind isn't inherently harmful. It only becomes a problem when it shuts down newness prematurely. And when newness is the very thing you're praying for and looking for, it's time to shift. Remember, the Seven of Swords represents futility, the act of gaining no useful results. That's the risk of holding onto narrow-mindedness for too long. You end up in cycles where nothing fruitful can grow. This trait might stem from past wounds, times you were open-minded and got hurt. But that's not your present anymore. You're evolving. Let go of those old stories, learn from them, and return to the wisdom of your inner discernment. Your open mind is the key to better opportunities. Your clarity is the compass. Your heart knows when something is for you. Listen closely. The message is already arriving. For those born in September, your negative attribute is moodiness, and your positive trait is peacefulness. Moodiness is the opposite of peacefulness. I know many of you are seeking answers because you tend to become more moody when things don't go according to plan, whether that's in work, relationships, finances, or your intimate life. You often analyze your life as if it's always going wrong. But remember, your gift is peacefulness. That calmness within you has the power to restore harmony and bring you back into alignment. The Ace of Cups appeared in your reading as a divine reminder to navigate life through emotional intelligence and to build your foundation on emotional awakening, happiness, and joy. To shift your moodiness, it's time for inner work. Ask yourself, what's pulling me into the frequency of moodiness, and why am I so agitated? Where is this moodiness coming from? Is it inner pain, a lack of energy? Are you simply tired of the constant setbacks and feeling like you're not getting anywhere? If your divine trait is peacefulness, why not choose to operate from that space, even in the face of challenges? When you stay in the vibration of frustration and agitation, you attract more of that same energy. Life is never perfect, but your ability to return to peace is your superpower. Even the food you eat could be contributing to moodiness, especially if you're consuming low vibrational or processed foods. What are you doing daily to nourish both your body and soul and support the self-love required to stay in harmony? This is the time to sit with yourself and journal. Write freely. Release all your emotions, even if they feel unclear. You might be experiencing emotional instability without fully realizing it. In your personal relationships, someone may ask a simple question and trigger you, causing you to respond with agitation. But the truth is, they might not be doing anything wrong. You're projecting from an unhealed place. You need to look inward and ask, what's the root of this moodiness? Start with journaling. Write out your emotions. Write out your triggers. Write until you find clarity. We are all connected. We come from one divine source. The love you offer is the love you will magnetize. When you become moody, you push people away, including the ones you love, and often attract others who are stuck in that same vibration. Moodiness can also block your opportunities. If you're in a relationship, ask yourself, can you blame your partner for not wanting to plan a romantic night when you're always moody toward them? Ask yourself daily, am I vibrating on the frequency of self-love? When you move into the frequency of peace, abundance will follow, financially, emotionally, and physically. But even if you had all the money in the world, you'd still be moody if you're not grounded in peace and harmony. Emotional imbalance leads to physical exhaustion and spiritual depletion. Tap into your inner stillness, tap into your creativity, uplift your spirit. If you need to write, write. If you need to change your environment, change it. If you need to release your emotions, paint, sing, rap, or dance them out. If you've lived a powerful life story, write it down. Turn your pain into art. Write a letter from your present self to your future self about the goals you want to achieve in order to rise above this phase of moodiness. Let your emotions move through you, not define you. Even your morning routine can shift your frequency. If you've been relying on coffee as your emotional crutch, consider replacing it with something more nourishing, like reading affirmations or meditating. That coffee crash is a temporary fix. The moodiness that returns afterward is just a reminder that you've been avoiding the root. Speak life into yourself daily. Speak peace into your rising. Speak joy into your soul. You can change your frequency, journal it out, dance it out, sing it out, make it sacred, make it fun, and most importantly, make it yours. If you were born in the months of July, August, or September, this was your personalized reading for the week of June 16th. Next Monday, I'll be sharing a message for those born in October, November, and December. If my message resonates with you, don't forget to drop a heart or some love in the comments and subscribe to my channel to stay connected. Protect your peace and move through your week with good intention. Remember to keep your heart open but your energy guarded. Until next time, stay true and deeply rooted to your path.